Give it up for Dan, working hard tonight. My name is Rich. What can I tell you? Well, first of all, got to thinking a little bit. It seems like it should be a golden age for people like me, and I'm basing this on cartoons, and hear me out. So if you look like at the Flintstones, for instance, it's very clear that black people not yet been invented back then. And then if you fast forward to the future, to the Jetsons, and you see there's nobody of any color there, it's clear something happens between now and then where we become extinct. So this feels like this really should be like that post-emancipation, pre-eradication sweet spot. Not working out so well, though, is it? And I was thinking, okay, so we had Obama, right? Like, we kind of all had Obama, and that's cool. But even now, and plus America felt like it was a glitch, right? And super overcorrected to the other end of the spectrum. But like, Obama to me feels like it might not even have happened. You ever think of that sometimes? Like that, like where we are now, and you look back, and it's like 8 years went by, and almost like you were asleep for 8 years, right? You woke up like Dorothy and Wizard of Oz, but instead of the Tin Man and the Scarecrow guy, it's just Trump and Pence staring at you, and like, you know, building a new yellow brick wall. Pence trying to ungay the rainbow, like it's just all. So yeah, so my point being is like, the black person is always just some little layer over everything you do in life. And I'm in an interracial marriage right now. Thank you very much. We did it. We beat racism. It's over, everybody. Celebrate this. And you want to know one of the wildest things about being in an interracial marriage, besides the subtle and overt racism, it's weddings of all things. And I'm blessed. Like, I have these 3 nieces, my wife's sister's kids. All right, it's wonderful. They live in the South, which means 2 things. Okay, they get married crazy young, and I'm gonna be the only black person at their wedding. That, trust me, it's nothing terrible's ever happened. 3 for 3 on the LAS, the lynch avoidance scales, you know. But, you know, it's the awkward moment when you get to the church every time. You walk up, and there's just this sort of showdown with the greeter. And they look at you, and you know what they're thinking. And they finally go, bride side? Groom? Valet? Never right. All right? So anyway, the weddings are always fine. They're the same. But the receptions are where the interesting stuff starts happening. And every wedding reception's the same, pretty much, right? No matter where you go, music starts, first dance, bride and groom, beautiful. Parents come out, dance with the bride and groom, some mixy-matchy happens, that's beautiful. DJ says, get the wedding party out there, they're out there. Eventually DJ gets everybody on the dance floor all swaying something like you, the way you look tonight, something very slow and controllable. And then, once the DJ gets everybody on that damn dance floor, that's when he decides it's time to get the party started, right? And he puts in something like Celebration by Kool and the Gang. As soon as the first notes play, it's like when an old Western, when someone walked in the saloon, the piano player stopped. Everybody in the place stops and looks at me with the eye, has that little, ooh, we can see what a real dancer could do with this now. It's really like, that's not even fair, right? Because I'm like, A, I'm not the entertainment, and B, I rarely travel with my giant piece of breakdancing cardboard, so I'm working at a deficit. All right? So that's things. So I just throttle it down, like instinctively, I throttle it down. I want to make a scene, and even throttling it down, I look like Beyonce in these places every time. Oh, another thing about being the only black guy at a wedding is the very distinct impression they're being used as a landmark, right? So like, it's almost like the grooms are like, hey dudes, 10 o'clock, let's go meet by the black guy, we'll figure out what we're gonna do after this thing. Or the parents bring their kids over, hey, if we get separated, go stand next to the black guy who's not behind a bar. Back to the dance thing, by the way, like, you know, I do my Beyonce and I'm winning the night, obviously. And then eventually they put on like the Great Equalizer, the line dance song, you know, Cupid Shuffle, Electric Slide. It's like the Hokey Pokey for grown-ups, right? They tell you exactly what to do. Have you ever noticed, but there's always one person at every wedding who's trying to win the electric slide. They always put like the extra, like this weird extra little sort of wiggly waggly little something, oh, I'm doing the turn. There's no trophy at stake, they're just going for it, right? It's the most important thing they've done all day. But that's the thing. So I used to think we'd get through this whole thing, maybe technology might solve this racism thing I started with, right? Maybe ones and zeros will get rid of our little perceived biases, these little slights that happen in your life. And then I read a study, Harvard study. You know this, self-driving cars are more likely to hit black people than white people. This is a fact. And yeah, it's true. And it makes sense if you think about it, because most of the programmers who work in labs are white, And so they end up programming images more familiar to them, i.e. lighter images versus darker images. Okay, right? And I know it sounds great, like I love to live in a colorblind world where you don't see colors. I need these cars to see this color. So it looks like, turns out that the killer robot cars are after me too, which now I think about it probably explains the whole Jetsons thing, right? Thank you all, Main Rich.